Why China is secretly taking over Pakistan. China and Pakistan continue to have close ties, and Beijing's $62 billion investment through the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has altered both nations' futures. In today's video, we will discuss why the relationship between China and Pakistan is so crucial and why Pakistan is the key trading partner for China's future success. There are 149 nations that are a part of the Belt and Road Plan, but Pakistan may be the most crucial one for China's future economic development. Pakistan and Xinjiang, an autonomous region in northwest China that played a significant role in the historic Silk Road, border each other on a length of 596 kilometers. China started the Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, in 2013, with the goal of reviving the historic Silk Road and establishing connections with other nations through a network of roads, railways, ports, and other infrastructure projects. In the past 10 years, China has invested tens of billions of dollars in Pakistan's economy. Pakistan was one of the first nations in the world to take part in the BRI. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, the centerpiece of China's Belt and Road program, was constructed by the two countries collectively. CPEC starts in one of the major cities in the Xinjiang Autonomous Region, Kashgar, and runs the entire length of Pakistan, concluding at the port of Gwadar in southwest Pakistan. This economic route makes it more simple for China to obtain oil and gas from its Middle Eastern allies and gives it direct access to the Arabian Sea. The Marshall Plan, implemented by the United States and post-World War II Europe, and CPEC's prospective effects on Pakistan have been contrasted. Following World War II, the United States gave Western European nations $13 billion, equivalent to $173 billion in 2023, for economic recovery projects. The Marshall Plan was essential to the future prosperity of Europe, and today China is taking the same road as the US and investing similar sums of money to boost trade in the area. With China contributing the majority of the financing and technical know-how, the overall investment for CPEC is anticipated to be around $62 billion. The BRI in China is a predatory debt trap, according to the Western media, and China is unreliable. But there's always another side to the tale that we need to consider: how the local people in Pakistan have benefited from these BRI ventures. The CPEC project has affected the economies of Pakistan, China, and the rest of the region. Yet the impact of CPEC on the Pakistani economy has been genuinely pretty impressive. According to official estimates from Pakistan, the CPEC will generate 2.3 million new employees between 2015 and 2030 and boost the nation's yearly economic growth by about 2.5 percentage points. By 2022, the CPEC had improved Pakistan's export and development capabilities and was now contributing 1/4 of the country's total electricity production. Yet since the BRI project has begun in China 10 years ago, the Chinese government has welcomed 149 nations and made incredible investments in 1,100 projects all over the world. The CPEC investment is arguably the most significant of the 1,100 projects for China's future prosperity for 3 strategic reasons. Energy security is first. The world's top energy consumer, China primarily depends on imported petrol and oil. China has grown over the past 10 years to become Saudi Arabia's largest commercial partner and largest oil consumer, consuming more than 1/4 of the nation's oil exports. China and Qatar agreed to a 27-year contract in December of last year to access the latter's liquefied natural gas. By these agreements, China has secured the energy required to sustainably grow its economy. But a straightforward question still remains: how did oil and petrol get from the Middle East to China's borders before CPEC, when there was only one route? Before arriving to a Chinese port, oil tankers would need to leave the Middle East, travel around southern India, across the Strait of Malacca between Indonesia and Malaysia, and lastly through Vietnam. The 2 issues with this path are as follows. The first is the incredibly long route that oil tankers must take to get these commodities to China. Although the just mentioned voyage is about 12,000 kilometers long, there is a bigger problem. What transpires in the event could be war or conflict. Just closing the Strait of Malacca would prevent China from getting the energy it needs to power its economy. However, the CPEC resolves both of these issues. Exports of Middle Eastern energy can now easily travel to Pakistan's water port, follow the economic corridor through Pakistan, and then enter the autonomous province of Xinjiang in China. This situation is great, as the greatest oil and gas-bearing region in China is located in Xinjiang. As CPEC has been implemented, the once 12,000-kilometer voyage of Middle Eastern oil has been cut down to just 2,400 kilometers, and CPEC is saving China about $2 billion annually on energy imports. The fact that CPEC gives China access to new markets in Central Asia, South Asia, and the Middle East is a second reason it is crucial for China's future. The project has increased Chinese investment in these areas and lessens China's reliance on exports to the West. It is imperative that China increase its level of economic independence and establish partnerships where it can. Unity has been giving that chance in Pakistan for many years. Regional security is a third and last justification. China is utilizing CPEC as a tool to tackle terrorism in Pakistan and promote regional stability. China thinks that the over $62 billion investment in CPEC will spur economic growth and lessen poverty in Pakistan, which might aid in addressing some of the regional extremism's underlying causes. Yet if we dig more into the relationship between China and Pakistan, one of the largest trends that has emerged in the last 5 years is the sale of metal from Pakistan to China via CPEC. Pakistan has begun to enhance the production of metals like copper and iron and diversify its exports. China, the world's largest metal consumer, has a significant demand for these metals. Copper is one of the main metals China imports from Pakistan. Pakistan supplied less than $50 million worth of copper to China in 2014. Its amount had increased to approximately $410 million by 2020. China currently leads the world in renewable energy and controls markets for solar energy and electric automobiles. And this metal sales example from Pakistan to China exemplifies the very goal of the BRI. China has access to the essential resources required to propel its economy while also making large investments in British nations to propel their own economies. According to several Pakistani academics, China has already consolidated its power in Pakistan. According to an article from the Observer Research Foundation, China is the new America in Pakistan. More nations are embracing the One China position at the government and UN levels, and more are joining China's international organizations like the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank. Returning to the main topic of the video, let's look at how Pakistan's close ties to China have impacted everyday life there. Here is a piece from Western media that provided some insightful information regarding how native Pakistanis really felt about China. The Diplomat published an article last year headlined, "Pakistanis saw China as their best friend," despite the fact that opinions of China have deteriorated in many parts of the world. Pakistanis are overwhelmingly supportive of Beijing. Two straightforward questions regarding China were posed to respondents in a survey performed the previous year. What is the first thing that springs to mind when you think about China? Second, has your opinion of China improved or deteriorated over the past 3 years? The word friend was the most often given response to the first query. Chinese people are seen as nice and hardworking by Pakistanis, who also see China as a powerful, developed powerhouse. In response to the second question, moreover 85% of respondents said their opinions of China had changed over the previous 3 years. Just 9% of respondents said their perception had gotten worse, while 6% remained neutral. Why then did the vast majority of people feel so strongly about Beijing and supported China? That's all. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel and ring the bell icon to get more videos.